Thank you very much.
I'm a mountain biker and we live to get radical. This is a picture of, it's not of me, it's some acquaintances of mine taken quite recently. But I do things that I'm quite excited about too, and in a second hopefully there'll be a picture of me. There's me being exciting and awesome. And, basically, the deal is that I run a volunteer group that maintains the local mountain bike trails. I moved to Bristol sort of about 10 years ago or so, and it turns out that while mountain biking is quite popular in Bristol, there aren't any mountains here at all. So the issue with this is that you have to spend a lot of time like travelling to them, or you can just go and ride your bike in the woods, which ought to be the preferred option, except unfortunately everyone else has the same idea, and what you end up with is this, basically, a sort of enormous mud pit that everyone fights their way through. So it seemed to me after a few years of doing this in Bristol that a sensible option was to sort of start a volunteer group. The problem with this is the authorities. We were very, very scared of engaging with them. But at the same time, doing renegade trail maintenance is probably the squarest thing you can do. It turned out that they were actually very nice, just like I'm sure those guys are. We also we needed some tools, and I went around to local bike shops, and luckily they heeded my blagging requests. You need a few other things if you're going to build mountain bike trails. You can't just rearrange the mud into shapely new configurations most of the time. So what we did was the local quarry agreed to sort us out with various grades of stone and what have you. Yeah, I've realised there's a little screen in front of me that I can look at as well. Fantastic. You also need people. This is taken from the one volunteer day we had that had more than 5. And to get those people, you can do various things. We were lucky enough to start just as the whole internet thing was taking off. Initially we had a forum, now we have a Facebook group and a Twitter and all that sort of thing. So it's really quite easy to recruit randoms. Or you can, I don't mean to describe lovely volunteers quite that way, or you can just go and talk to people out there. The old mediums in some ways are still the best, and you get a really, really good response just from sort of speaking to people. Everyone seems wildly enthusiastic. It takes a bit of overheads to keep things ticking along. So apart from sort of people occasionally bunging us a few quid and bike shops being lovely, we've run events like, for example, this guy will take a really nice professional photo of you mountain biking for a trifling sum, and you know, that's kind of paid our budget for a bit. But in case you're kind of listening to me talk and thinking, oh, I could start my own volunteer group now, that sounds fantastic. Or you're thinking, God, what a sucker giving up his time for free, alternatively. I think the truth lies somewhere between those two. It's not sort of something that you should do, I think, because you feel like you ought to do it. I think that's a terrible, terrible reason for doing anything in life, really. I think one of the main sort of reasons for sort of doing it is that it's actually secretly quite a fun thing to do. You're out there, you're out with a load of people who you all have something in common with. You're all sort of talking about and basically geeking out about things you're all enthusiastic about. So that's a really lovely way to spend your time. Another reason to do it is that you might feel that, for example, you need a bit of control over your environment or something, and you just want to get out there and make a difference to it. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. I'm not kind of endorsing things where, for example, I'm very sceptical about the idea that, for example, social services or teaching or whatever should be devolved to volunteers. There are very good reasons why people are paid to do those jobs. But I think for things that are basically hobbies, it's a great thing to do. It's really fun. You know, you can see the whale of a time that this chap here is having with his new toy. So it's something, and taking it all full circle as well. I've got a picture here which is taken from the same time as the initial photo that you saw, and it's basically that you can do something where if what you like is a bit niche or something or a bit specialist, then building it yourself or doing it yourself is definitely the way to go. So there you have it. Thank you very much.